Hey everyone, my name is Riley and this video is a step-by-step Asana tutorial. Asana is one of the best project management tools on the market right now, and in this video I'm going to take you step by step through the entire process from how you can set up your account to actually using Asana, creating different tasks, coming together to collaborate with your team, and absolutely everything that you need to know about Asana is explained in this video. If you do not yet have an Asana account and you want to claim a free trial with Asana, you can do so using the first link down in the description. Okay, so once you click on that link in the description, you will be taken over to this page right here. All we need to do to get started with Asana for free is click on Get Started right here, and then we can sign up with either a Google account or simply our email. Once your account has been created, we can then go ahead and enter in your name, as well as uploading a profile photo right here, if this is what you want to do. From here, we can click on Continue, and it's now going to ask us a few questions. I personally prefer to just go ahead and skip these, as we want more of a blank project document when we first go in. Once again here, I'm going to click Not Sure Yet, and then Continue without AI. It's then going to ask us to create our first project, and in this video, I am going to be showing you Asana as if I am a marketing agency. Even if you do not have a marketing agency and you want to use Asana for something completely different, this tutorial is still going to be relevant as it's going to show everything that Asana does. Now, as an agency, one of the most important things that we can focus on is our own client acquisition and sales. So I'm going to title this workboard Sales and Client Acquisition, and then we can click on Continue. Next, it's going to ask us some tasks that we can set up. So when our team come here, they can click into Sales and Client Acquisition, and then we can list things that we want to do within this area. So in here, I'm going to create this first section to create a new VSL or video sales letter. Secondly, we are going to rebuild our sales funnel, and then down here, we can improve Facebook ads. So we can enter these in and then click Continue, and then we can create different stages. We can, of course, edit all of these later. So for now, I'm just going to leave these as they are, and then we can click on Continue. It's then going to ask if we want to set this up as a list, a board, a timeline, or a calendar. Once again, we can change this later. And just like this, we are actually going to have these top sections so that we can just navigate along and change this view with a click of a button. But to start out, we will go with list and then click Continue. And this is where we can add our team to Asana. So enter in the email of the people that you would like to invite, and then click on Continue. This is then going to take us over to Asana, so we can click on Skip, and just like that, we have now fully set up Asana. The final thing that I want to mention before we fully dive into this tutorial is when you invite team members like I just did, they will receive an email that looks like this. So all they have to do is click View Project. They can then create their own Asana account, and then they will be automatically added to your team. So now moving back over to Asana, and you can see we are now brought over to the sales and client acquisition, the board that I just created. So right here, we have this section of to do, we also have doing, and then we also have done. So first of all, I actually don't like this doing right here. So I'm going to click into these three dots, and then we can rename this section. So I'm going to change this to in progress. That looks a lot more professional, in my opinion, just a lot better. And then in here, once again, our team can come into the sales and client acquisition, and they can see exactly what we need to do. So we need to create a new VSL, rebuild the sales funnel, and then improve Facebook ads. Now we can actually take this a step further and show our team step by step exactly what we need to do in here. The way that we do this is we can click into Create New VSL as an example, and this is going to open up this big menu right here. Now what we can do is go down to Add Subtask, and in this subtask section, this is where we can tell our team exactly how we want them to create this VSL. So in this first subtask, I can title this Reach Out to Current Clients and Get Testimonials. Then we can add another subtask. We can have this as Create First Draft. And then I'm going to go here and create a few more subtasks. And just like that, I now have all of my subtasks created. So my team now know that we need to create a VSL. They can then click into this and see every single step that needs to be taken in order to complete this task. So if I exit out of this menu right here, we can then add an assignee to each of these different tasks. So right now, all of these tasks are currently assigned to me, but we can click in here and we can see all of the different team members that I currently have on Asana. Right now, we have me, we then have Sarah, and we have Luke. So if I want Luke to complete this create VSL task, then I can go ahead and add Luke right here, and he's going to be the main assignee. We can also assign people to particular subtasks by opening up this subtask menu right here, and then we can go to each individual subtask, and on the far right hand side, we can assign different people to this subtask. So reach out to current client and get testimonials. I want this to be Luke. Create first draft is going to be Luke. Send to Sarah for review is going to be Luke. Then Sarah needs to review this, so I will set this to Sarah. Then polish draft to make final script is once again going to be Luke. Send to Riley for record VSL will be Luke. And then record VSL is going to be me. So as you can see, I now have all of my different subtasks assigned to the designated team member who needs to take care of that subtask. Now, because Luke is in charge of most of these tasks, I'm going to leave Luke as the main assignee. One mildly infuriating thing with Asana that you don't really get with other project management tools is this limits us to one assignee per task. So for example, if I try to add Luke and Sarah to be assigned on this, it doesn't let me. I can only assign one person to this. It's not the end of the world, but it is pretty annoying because I would prefer to have Luke, Sarah, and me assigned to this task, where I can only assign people to individual subtasks. Next, we can go to the due date, and this is where we can set due dates and deadlines for specific tasks. So with Create VSL, I want this to be done by the end of the month. So the start date I will set to today, and then the end date I will set to the end of the month. As you can see, that due date is now going to update, and it's set between today and the 29th of February. We can also set due dates on subtasks, once again by clicking on this subtask menu, going down to the subtask right here, and we can add a due date to each individual subtask. So reach out to clients and get testimonials. Maybe I want this done by Tuesday. We can add this. Then create first draft. I want done by the 16th. And then we can go ahead and do this for the rest of these subtasks. So now all of our subtasks have due dates, and we also have a due date for the main task at the top. We can also set priorities to each of these different tasks so that we can prioritize different tasks and let the team know the highest priority task and then the lowest. Right now, this is made up of low, medium, and high. However, if you would like to edit these options and add in different priorities, we can go to edit options right here, and we can add or take away different priorities. For example, if I want to add an option here and title this as urgent, I can do that right there, and then select this color on the left hand side. Now red is very fitting for urgent, so I'm just going to leave this. And then if you would like to delete any of these priorities right here, we can click on this X button. We can also drag and move these different priorities into different orders. But let's save changes. And something I also forgot to mention is we can do the same with this to-do list. For example, if I wanted to rebuild the sales funnel before I create this VSL, I can simply go over to these dots on the left-hand side, click and drag, and rearrange this to-do list. Let's rearrange these in the other order and set this to a high priority. I'm going to set the other ones to medium because we are not going to focus on them yet. We also have a status right here, and this is going to allow us to see how each activity is going and the current status. Right now we have on track, at risk, or off track. So once again, I will go here to edit options. And then once again, we can edit these fields right here, adding options, taking options away, and moving these around. We can also add different categories or fields using this button on the right hand side. We can go in here and create a field title, and this is super customizable. For example, I can create a field for expected completion date, then go over to the field title and choose from this drop down menu whatever fits best. Now, as this is a date, I'm going to select the date function, and we have some options down here to add to my workspace field library, notify task collaborators when the field value is changed, or you can have this so that only you as the team leader can edit this field settings. We can then click create field, and this is going to pop up right here, and then you and your team can come along, change this date right here, and enter in an expected completion date. If you want to remove or change around any of these sections at the top, we can click on this drop-down menu and then either hide the column or remove field from project. We can then remove field, and then once again, if you want to move any of these different areas around, we can simply click and drag to change the order of this. Now, currently, this create VSL is still in the to-do area. However, this is going to be in progress right now as Luke is currently working on this. So what we can now do is go to create VSL, drag these 3 dots on the left hand side and move this under in progress. Now we can clearly see that we are in progress on the VSL and you and your team know exactly where this is. This is where the board view comes in, and this is super handy because this gives us access to see a much nicer overview of exactly what is to do, what is in progress and what is currently complete. On this board option, we can once again click into all of these areas so that we can view the subtasks. But on this menu, this is a Kanban chart where we can drag these different tasks and projects around into the Kanban chart that you can see. One thing that I did forget to mention on the list view is we can click into any of these tasks right here, and this is going to open up this menu on the right hand side. We have already covered some tasks, so we are not going to cover this, but we can also add a description about this task. So in here, I'm just going to say we need to create a higher converting VSL than the one that we have. And then up here, we can change the status, the priority, all of this we can do from this menu right here as well. At the bottom here, we can also add comments for our team to see so that you can effectively communicate through Asana. So in here, we can type in @ and this is going to allow us to mention a specific teammate. So I can say @ and then @Luke, and I can ask Luke how this project is coming along. Now, because I tagged Luke right here, this is going to send Luke a notification that I have tagged him and give him this message. However, because Sarah isn't tagged here, it is not going to send her a notification. I can also add certain files. I can insert an object, insert an emoji, and many other things. But if I go ahead and click on comment, Luke is now going to be notified about this comment. And it looks like Luke just replied. So right here, we can see Luke's comment. And then once again, I can go ahead and reply to this, or I can just leave a reaction to show that I have seen this. Closing out of this area, we can also go over to this overview section right here, where we can add in a project description to sum up this entire project. So you can add a simple description into here, just to show your team exactly what is to be expected out of this project. We can also add project roles right here. So right now I am the project owner, and I can go to my other team members, click on add role, and then add a role right here. So I am going to set Sarah as a marketing leader, and then I can click add role for Luke and set Luke as chief media buyer. Just like that, we have set up the project roles right here, and we can now go and add in a goal into connected goals. So if we click add goal right here, let's go ahead and create a new goal. And this goal is going to be to double our clientele over the next 12 months. We can also set a goal owner right here. So I will leave this as me. And then we can set a time period to achieve this goal. Right now, this is set to Q1 of 2024. So let's just go ahead and set this to the entire financial year of 2024. We can also change the privacy, whether we want to make this visible to the entire company or just show this to the owner and its members. And then we can also add in members right here. So if you have a bigger company and you have different departments, you probably don't want the team that is working on your client campaigns to be able to access a board like sales and client acquisition and the other way around. You probably don't want your sales team to be able to see the client projects that are going on. And that is exactly what we can set up in this members and privacy area. We can then click save goal and we can see the connected goal is right here. And then we can click into this goal. We can set the status, whether this is on track, We can create a summary, what we've accomplished, what's blocking us, next steps, and we can add in new sections right here. We can also go ahead and post this, and this is going to leave an update and tell our team exactly how we are doing. We can also add key resources down here where we can add links and files, create different project briefs, and if I go in here, we can upload different files and different things from the computer. For example, we might want to add in images or videos or even documents that are relevant to this project. We can also add milestones down here. So milestone 1 might be reaching out to 1,000 prospects. We can once again set a due date and assign this task to somebody, and we can make all of our milestones down here. Up at the top, we can also change between these views. So we have the list view that we have already spoken about. We have the board view that we have spoken about as well. We have a timeline view where we can get an overall timeline on the month and the year and see exactly where everything fits in. So right now we can see with create new VSL, we set the due date for the entire month, which is why this spreads out for the entire month. We can go to rebuild sales funnel, and then in here, once again, we can spread this out for the entire month. And if we now go back to the list view right here, we can see rebuild sales funnel. The due date has now been changed to change this to the entire month. Under the calendar section, this is where we can get a deeper dive into the exact calendar we are working with. We can go ahead and add new tasks. And what you need to understand about this, about all of these views right here, is this is all the same data and it's just a different way of viewing it. For example, if I go to Friday the 9th right here and I add in a new task, let's just call this test, we can see that this task right here has now been added, and this is also going to show up on the list board right here. So just keep that in mind that whatever you add to one of these views, it's going to show up on every single view. We also have this workflow section where we can go through and start building out a workflow. So we can choose between form submissions, task templates from other apps. We can set assignees and essentially set up the entire workflow here. We also have a dashboard view of this entire project. So we can see how many tasks have been completed, any incomplete tasks, total tasks by completion status, and this view right here is just going to give us an at-glance overall view of how this project is going. We can, of course, fully customize this. For example, upcoming tasks by assignee. If I want to remove this, I can click on these 3 dots, remove this from chart, and just like that, remove this from the board. You can also add new charts into this dashboard right here by clicking on add chart, and then we can fully prioritize this to whatever we want. So if I want to go for a column just like this, we can then add different chart axes. So we can add assignees, and we can see each assignee right here. We can also add task count, time, everything like this, and we can also add filters. Next, we have messages, and this is completely separate to the messages that we had earlier in this section right here. It wasn't this, where was it? Create new VSL. So we have messages right here, and these are messages relating to this task right here. However, this message section is messages that are related to the entire project. So in here, we can add a subject, and maybe I can say, well done team. We can then choose the project this is going to be sent to, and then type out the message right here. This says, congrats, we are on target. We can then go ahead and send this, and this is going to show up in the messages area. So this is one project right here. But what we also might want to do is create a new project. So in here, we have sales and client acquisition. Let's go ahead and add a new project. You can choose from some templates. So right here, we can click in and see all of these different templates that you can use. And it's definitely worth taking a look through here to see if there's anything that you would use. In this example though, I'm just going to go for blank and keep this nice and simple. And then I'm going to set this up as client campaigns. Once again, we can choose the privacy, so who can view this, and then the default view. Once we create this project, this is now going to show up under the project tab. And once again, we can set this up in the exact same way that we set up this original project. And this is a really cool feature that is going to allow you to separate out different areas within your team. So we have sales and client acquisition, client campaigns. We might want to add one for customer support, and so on and so forth. We can also go up to reporting. click on Get Started. And instead of the one before, so if we click into Projects and go to Dashboard, this is going to show us a dashboard specifically for this project. However, the reporting section is going to show us a dashboard for all of the projects that are within Asana. Once again, we can fully customize this by clicking to edit. We can delete these certain charts right here, and we can add new charts in using this button at the top. Under goals, this is where we can add new goals for the team. So once again, this is similar to the goal that we set up before under sales and client acquisition. However, once again, this goal section is going to be setting up goals for the entire team rather than one specific project. Up in the inbox section, this is where we can see different activity and different important things that we need to know. So we can see that Luke and Sarah accepted my invite to join. And then to keep this nice and clean, once we have read the message, we can just archive these notifications. We have Luke's reply that he sent earlier that we can see right here. And this dashboard is a very nice way to stay organized and see exactly what you need to see. Under my tasks, this is where you can see all of the tasks that are currently assigned to you. And what I am actually going to do is I will switch over to Luke's account so we can see a much better viewing of this and see how this is going to look for your team members. So right now I am in Luke's account right here. This is the main dashboard, so we still haven't fully completed the profile. We can just go ahead and get rid of this for now. But we can see all of Luke's tasks that are in here. This is specifically private to him, so only he can see this. And then as you can see, we have some default tasks right here that we will get rid of. But reach out to current clients and get testimonials. We can see all of these tasks as well as the due date right here on Luke's dashboard. We can also see any projects that Luke is involved in, frequent collaborators, and then Luke can customize this homepage right here by adding in these different widgets such as my goals, tasks that he's been assigned, status updates, private notepads, and there's many things that he can add here. Most importantly, Luke can go into my tasks and he can see tasks that are specifically assigned to him. If Luke was to come down into sales and client acquisition, especially when we start adding a lot of things into here, this can be pretty confusing for him as he can see tasks that are assigned to everybody, and this can be very distracting and noisy. The My Tasks section is going to really simplify this for your team members and show them only tasks that are assigned to them. Your team members will see this all as recently assigned, and then they can go ahead and assign these different tasks to these different sections. So for example, reach out to current clients and get testimonials. We can move down to do today, create first task, do today, send to Sarah for review, we can go do next week, and so on and so forth. And this is how your team members can really organize their workflow. Finally, we have the inbox where we can click in. We have access to Luke's inbox right here. He got this notification of the message that I sent saying, congrats, we are on target. So he might say, yay, something like this, click send, and then that is going to be sent. We can also see that I have added new tasks into this workspace, updated statuses, and once again, we can clean this up by archiving everything here. Now I am back in my main account. I am back in the team leader, Riley's account. And the final thing that I want to show you is just some back-end settings, as well as how you can add additional team members to your team. So first of all, we can go up to this top corner, click on your profile icon, and then from here, we can click invite to Asana. And this is how we can add people to this workspace. So we can choose what projects we want to add them to. So maybe this person I want to add to client campaigns. And then once again, we just enter their email. That will send them an email, a notification where they can sign up, just like I explained at the start. We can also go in here and go into profile first of all. You can set out of office. We can edit profile. And this is where you can change your name, add your profile picture, job title, everything like this. We can also go over to notifications and choose what email notifications you get, what browser notifications you get, project notifications, so on and so forth. We can also choose the theme under display, whether we want this to be light or dark. We can change the language and set the day of the week, as well as some advanced options that aren't super important, but you can play around with right here. So that is my Asana tutorial. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.